to A Troubled Shared. This is episode 23. 23, that number that is iconic. Michael Jordan, LeBron James later. But you didn't realise that episode 23 of A Troubled Shared will become the most iconic version of 23. My name is Johnny Cochrane, and I am one of the comedians on this podcast who... I should have done the thing at the start. This is a podcast, welcome, where two comedians try and solve the world's problems by solving one of your troubles one at a time. I'm not alone. My name's Johnny Cochrane, but I am here with someone who wouldn't be troubled by a whole host of trouble if it came to her door. It's Twayna Mayne. How you doing, Twayna?
I was doing all right until it's always a worry when you do the intro because it's just like sometimes it's like this can be really smooth and I'm like, oh yeah, Johnny, that's great. And then sometimes it's like, Johnny, you fucked it. What the fuck? So I mean, it's not the worst that you've done, but it's not the best. But you know, you did it. It's an introduction. I'm good. Is the answer to that question. How are you?
Yeah, not the worst that I've done is saying something, can it?
Yeah, because there's a load. There's a lot. We've done 23, so.
Yeah. There are lower points that I've shown everyone I can get to. I can really scrape the barrel. That was just above the barrel's edge, actually. That was just kind of like running low, like the kind of lime scale at the bottom of a kettle. You're not quite at the bottom, but you know, when it starts to build. I'm not too bad. And you don't think that this is going to be rivaling the career of Michael Jordan and LeBron James? This episode 23 of A Troubled Shared.
It could do because their careers started off they had to start off at somewhere. So, I mean, it took a while for them to build, to peak to who they are, who they became. So we've still got time to do that in the next sort of 35 minutes for this episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Could be iconic.
I mean, LeBron James did start pretty hot, to be fair. He was one of the, prodigal sons of the NBA college. But it doesn't matter. I'm not putting a ceiling on how good this episode can be. And we were just bantering about some of the feedback we had on. We put, loyal listeners of A Troubled Shared, we put out the clip where we dealt with a previous trouble where someone suggested that a white work colleague who had been sharing black emojis in work group text. We put that trouble out. Go back and listen to it. It would have been in episode 21 if you haven't. Put that as a clip, and we got it was all popping off, Twayna, all popping off. There were plenty of white people in the comments suggesting that it was just a black victim complex from us, wasn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely outrageous.
But also, we then sort of said they need us to allegedly be the victims. Otherwise, what are they going to do? They need upset. We need to appear upset for them to sort of then they were upset about us being fragile. It's like, but you're being fragile or us being fragile. And we weren't actually being fragile. You're just being fucking weirdos.
They are weirdos. And I'm amazed that they even managed to type whilst they were halfway up a ladder hanging flags.
With one hand going, and another thing. If you don't like it, get out of the phone.
Exactly. So there we go. Twayna, do you have any troubles that's troubling you at the moment?
Well, I've still got a bit of a sore leg. This is ongoing.
If
anyone remembers from the last few weeks, I've maybe mentioned it about when I ran for a bus and pulled. It's just this ongoing
spiral fracture, wasn't it? Was it a spiral fracture?
I think it was an amputation. I was
and
I went and ran for a bus, and it's been a problem ever since. So yeah, it's just ongoing. It's a niggly little problem. It's very difficult saying that word. So good luck with subtitling that, Johnny. It's just it's got a bit of a niggle. That's my knee. Yeah. How
many months do you think before you'll feel back to being yourself? Full athleticism.
Life gets, as a slightly older person than I was a few weeks ago, it takes a while, does an injury. When you're young, you bounce back. But when you're slightly not so young, it takes a while. I don't know. It needs to be done. I've got things to do, like just walk around without low-level pain.
Without pain,
it's not always painful. It's just sometimes it's fine, and then sometimes it just I thought we were on the right track. It's better than it was, but it's just annoying.
Sorry, this is you talking to your body, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
I thought we were on the right track.
Come on, what are we doing? Oh my god! I thought we were better. Last year, because I was doing some sports and stuff, and I was like, I think I've got a season of football in me. I've got one season of
Okay.
football. I don't think I've got a season of football in me. And that much I know. I was like, if I do a bit of practice sort of this year and over the summer, come September, new season or whatever, new season, I can do it. I don't think I've got it. This injury set that dream back.
Yeah, it's pie in the sky, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen,
I'm gonna have to
unfortunately.
hang
Have
up
another conversation. Have another conversation with your body and
I'm gonna have to
say,
hang
have
up
you got?
my one boot.
Yeah.
Okay, it's over, babe. It's over.
Love it. Okay, well, we'll check back in on another future episode, see how this galling injury is. I mean, you're brave. Thank you for being with us today. To be fair, but yeah, we'll check back in, do a wellness check. Are you ready to solve some other people's troubles?
I am, Johnny. Yes.
We'll throw it in at the top of the shop at housekeeping. If you want your own troubles to be cleared up by two professionals, self-ordained, do get in touch with us on our socials at iJohnnyCochrane or at Twayna Mayne. Hit us up. You can retain anonymity if you want. Obviously, we'll know who you are. So if it is about that groinal rash or whatever, then, maybe set up a ghost account. But either way, if you don't want us to say your name on air, we can do that. Drop us your troubles, and your trouble could be on a trouble share. That's how simple it is. But let's fire into our first one of this week's episode, shall we? Here we go. Oh, and make sure it's in the right one. There we go. Nearly did it wrong. I want to kiss my boss so much it hurts, but I'm a respectable married woman, and he's a man with a high moral compass. He's 42 and he joined my workplace as my manager. He's a lovely family man with 2 boys and a wife who seems like Superwoman. I'm happily married and have a daughter who is 13. I'm 39 and my husband is 40. My husband is great and we get along well. But this guy, well, he's something else. He smoulders with sexiness, but he doesn't realise it. He has never been inappropriate to even the slightest degree. I can't stop thinking about him lately. We have a few nights away together soon for work and I keep fantasising that he feels the same way. In my imagination, we have this one night where we flirt and then share a single kiss. What's the matter with me? Twayna.
I don't think anything's the matter. I'm a bit disappointed in this person's fantasy about this. It's like, why share one kiss when you can have a fantasy about having sex with this person? I think they're letting themselves down a little bit with the old fantasy. It's like, go the whole hog, have a night of absolute unbridled passion. That's what fantasy is all about. So I think I don't think this person, like, your relationship seems like it's happy. You seem like it's not like this person's looking for something else. You've just got a crush on somebody else. I think that's all right. It depends what you want to do with that crush. But you're in the fantasy stage, so maybe just leave it in the fantasy stage and just go further with the fantasies. Don't let yourself down. That's what fantasy is all about.
Yes, indeed. Twayna is encouraging you to be even more adulterous. Don't restrain yourself.
In your dreams.
I agree. I mean, she's talking about this might go into reality at one point. Let's get into a couple of things here. First of all, I agree with you. I mean, if you are, thinking of towing that line, then you might as well get buck wild. Do you know what I mean? Get some S&M out here. You know what I mean? Your marriage could fall apart for what? Some Disney kiss. Literally, what you're going to flick your heel up at the back as he holds it. Get a grip, But do you know why she's stopping at a kiss? Because she believes this man has a high moral compass. High enough so that he might have an affair with his superwoman of a wife, but doesn't want to get too raunchy, just a kiss, and then leave it at that. I do find it hilarious that, as you say, there seem to be guardrails, like at a bowling alley, little bumper rails on this level of adultery to kind of keep it in a PC version of what is essentially an affair. And also, I mean, it's just the language about the husband. My husband's great. We get along well, but this guy's something else. He smoulders with sexiness. I mean, what is it about a high moral compass that's so sexy these days? This guy, probably taking kittens out who are stranded in a tree. He's taking them down, helping old ladies across the room, and she's there just being rubbing her knees. But yeah, no, I agree with you, because broadly what you're saying is what's the matter with me whilst this is just something that is a fantasy in your head? Absolutely nothing. Everyone has them. If we were all getting done by the thought police, if this was Minority Report, your husband would have left. But it's not. You're allowed to have whatever kind of thoughts you want, whatever kind of dreams you want. It's only becomes an issue when you start acting on them. And it scares me that this woman is thinking about maybe doing something. And then if you try something and he doesn't accept, which there's a fair chance he won't, you're going to have to live with the consequences. If your husband finds out, you're going to end up with no one, not the smouldering guy or your husband, who's great and you get along well with him. So maybe keep it in your head. And if that's the case, absolutely nothing wrong with you whatsoever. Any other things on that?
No, I think it sounds all right. I don't think she's got the the guts. Not that I want her to have the guts to go and do that. That's not what I'm saying. But I just don't. I think it's more like I think she's maybe a bit worried about that. Oh, I've got these thoughts and feelings for somebody else, and I'm not married to them. So maybe that's what she's feeling a bit unsteady about. But it's just like, well, you were right where you are, but also this is a work colleague. It's also your manager. So if it did go further, it could just be catastrophic, really. And it sounds like your life is going all right. So why upend it for a really sexy man that you keep fantasizing about?
and to be honest, as you say though, if you're going to have an affair and the actions of your affair are transmittable before the watershed, now that's quite lame, isn't it? You know what I mean? You want some post-watershed affairs if you're going to do it. But yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Be respectable and enjoy your fantasies. Right, moving on. That one's sorted out. That's sorted out. Next one.
I have been married to the same man for years. However, I keep going over what happened 45 years ago when my husband had an affair. I was in my 20s with 4 young children and I was young and naive. It took a long time for me to get over it. It's only recently that I've asked him about it. He says he was flattered that somebody was interested. Why do I still have it at the back of my mind? Can you please let me know why? Johnny.
Well, you've still got it in your mind because it's quite a big deal. You've been pumping out children like you're, a battery hen by the sounds of it. 4 in your 20s? Goodness. I mean, you've not had much chance to slow down. So clearly your husband's been all over you, presuming they're all his. And whilst
you... that in. Presuming they're all his.
You can't get much past us here at A Trouble Shared. We've heard it all. We've heard it all. So we have to stipulate those things. But at the end of the day, you've gone through all of those labours, literally, and your husband's there playing the field, getting away, getting his end away somewhere else. Of course, you can still have that betrayal. The only thing I would say with this, and this doesn't excuse him, he was in the wrong for this action. But when people say they're going to when people say they're going to forgive someone who's had an affair, you have to actually forgive them. You can't say, "Yeah, I'm going to forgive you," and then keep bringing it up. Otherwise, just call it a day. And you've got every right to call it a day. But if you do, and some people can get past it, some people can get past the infidelity, particularly if you've done, it's 45 years ago, so it's a long time. And unless you know that something else has happened, clearly you could look at it and say that was worth sticking around for because he's not done it again. We've been presumably happy since. So, it's maybe a deal that you would make again in that situation. But if you're going to say that you're going to move past it, then move past it. Because there's no point in just keep raking up old graves when you've suggested that you're going to get over it, because it just becomes a sticking point that you keep coming back to. I'd say at 45 years ago, and you were in your 20s, obviously I'm good enough at maths to work out that you're at least 65. You're probably 70 now. Is it really worth having 2 pensioners arguing about this guy who had a shag when he was 25? It's probably not worth it. You've had your 4 kids. So I would say, it can still annoy you, but probably time to move on if you did say that you'd forgive him. What do you reckon, Twayna?
Yeah, 45 years is a long time to be holding a grudge, isn't it? It's even I love a grudge. I'm a big fan of holding a grudge, but holding a grudge for 45 years is a bit, even by my standards, it's a bit too long. Move on. I mean, if you've gone over this with him maybe 35 years ago, or even 45 years ago, and it kept on rumbling along for 10 years on and off, fair dues. But now it's 2026. Knock it on the head. Knock it on the head. Like Johnny said, your pensioners, you haven't got time. And, you know, he'll be a bit upset because, you know, you didn't give him enough roast potatoes. And then you're like, yeah, because I was upset that you had an affair. In 1980, in 1981. There's me sitting there trying to work it out, just going, in 1981, this is for 1981. Do you remember that year? Yeah, I do. It was the year you had the affair. You're like, sis, let it go. Move it on. Come on. This is like this is the best time of your life now. You don't work, you're retired, your kids are grown up, hopefully all left home. Maybe you've got a few grandkids that come around every now and often. Life is good. Come on. Enjoy your life. Stop this.
Let's be clear about things. I mean, at this stage of their lives, this guy might have Alzheimer's or something like that. You know what I mean? He might not even be able to remember some of the things. And all of a sudden, his elderly wife's just going, was it good? Was it? Was it worth it? Was it what? He doesn't know what's going on. He's just trying to get on with his life, got his flat cap on. And, you know, I agree with you in terms of grudges. You know, like in the realms of property where you have a flat and you get a leasehold, which is fixed for a period of time, 40 years. I think there has to be a period for grudges. And at that point, you just give it up. You can't
Statute of limitations, isn't it? Statute of limitations.
Exactly.
Just like 10 years, like an affair, 10 years. If you're still in the relationship and you've said, we're going to do the work and we blah, 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 and don't do this again, blah. Yeah, maybe you're allowed to be a bit like, you know, apprehensive, nervous, angry, frustrated, sad, all of that. But there comes a point where you're like, you need to get over this. You need to move on with this, especially if you're saying that we're continuing this relationship. So, yeah, 45 years, it's like, come on, stop being a dick. Let it go.
No, I agree. And like you say, just to tie that one in a bow, if you had said, look, we'll give it a go, and then within a year or two, you say, you know what, I just can't get past it, that's fair enough. You gave it a go and it was just too much. 45 years later, like, get over it. He's not going to keep apologising.
Do you imagine if she turned around and go, I want to split up? And he'd be like, why? We've been great. He said, yeah, because you had an affair 45 years ago. You're like, yeah, but we've been together for 45 years after that. It's like, yeah, but I can't forgive you.
Your kids are 50. Get on with it. It's that simple. Get on with it. Right. Next trouble. I think we sorted that one out. I am having problems with my neighbours who have become increasingly confrontational and rude to me. This is due to the number of dogs and cats that I now have in my home. At the moment, I have 13 cats and 6 dogs in my 2-bedroomed house. Unfortunately, the cats go into neighbouring gardens to do their mess, which I cannot really do anything about. And because of limited space for the animals to play, there can be a lot of barking at times. However, I could not possibly give any of them up, as they have had such traumatic lives. What can I do? I'm worried that the RSPCA will be called and will take them away from me. Twayna, what do you reckon?
Oh dear, this person's got too many pets. Disgusting. I like pets, but 13 cats and 6 dogs is just overkill. Get rid of at least 10 cats and 4 dogs. Just take them to the park and just leave them there and then come home. That's how you'd solve that problem. As for your neighbours, I think they have a right to be a bit upset with the noise from the dogs. And also, cats do whatever cats do, but you've got too many cats. Or maybe you could just tidy up after your cats in your neighbours' gardens to keep them on side. And maybe take the dogs for a walk. Just take them out, you know. If they're all just in the garden barking, of course your neighbours are going to be upset. So maybe your dogs need to be taken for a walk and not just let out into the back garden.
I couldn't agree more. Let's just start dishing out some reality checks, shall we? You've got 19 animals in a 2-bedroom house. I mean, even fucking Noah on the Ark had a little bit more space than that. You know what I mean? Being a little bit more forthright with some of the animal spaces, that's a piss take. And as you say, you know, you just talk about offshoots of you owning all these pets and just expect people to get on. Yeah, my cats just go in there and lay loads of shits in the garden. But that's just life. No, it's not. No, it's not life. Because this guy is going out in his garden and he can't walk for stepping in cat shit. And you're out there wanting to tell him about sob stories about the cat's lives. Not his problem. Not his problem. Oh, what can I do? I'm worried the RSPCA will be called. Yeah, they need to be. Guess what? They need to house pets who are in situations where they can't be looked after properly. And just because you have love and the best of intentions, you can't look after 19 animals unless they're like hamsters in a 2-bedroom house in that way. And certainly not without the blessing of all those in your local vicinity. Of course, 6 dogs as well in a 2-bedroom house is out of order. We don't even know what the breeds are, but my goodness, if it's anything bigger than a Pomeranian, then you're taking the piss.
Yeah, because they're yappy little fuckers, aren't they? You either got big dogs who are quite just soppy but big, but then you've got like those small little yappy ones. You're like, geez, Louise, get them out.
Just the mere description of it sounds like that old, comedy sketch where the clowns are getting out the car. You're opening the front door and just watching 13 cats walk out. Thank God I'm out of there. You know what I mean? No, it's unacceptable. What can I do? I'm worried. Guess what? It's time to start letting some of these pets go. And there was an extra little line out of here I cut short because just to keep it in, and it was basically like she's eyeing up potentially rehoming more pets that she's heard about are in desperate situations. You're taking liberties, and unfortunately you're trying to make out like your neighbours are being unreasonable, but actually you are the unreasonable person. Even if your heart is in the right place, get rid of some of your pets. If it's to the RSPCA, then so be it. But don't make this your neighbour's problem this much, where he has to deal with noise pollution and soil pollution as your cats keep shitting over his yard. So I think it's reasonable, and it's you that might need to change your behaviour somewhat. Sorted that one out. Here we go. Next one.
My wife is having an affair with her high school sweetheart. He was just released from prison after serving time for murder. I have forgiven her, but I told her to stop the contact. She said she'd rather divorce me than do that, and that I have to live with what's going on. I love my wife, so I'm happy to compromise for now. She now has put me out of the marital bed, and I am not allowed to touch or hug her. I still do my husband-type chores. Please, I need your advice. Johnny.
Well, in many cases in this situation, I might say, go and find the geezer and give him give him 2-4. But I'd say keep myself to myself if I was you, mate. I mean, the guy's... he's got proof of concept of what might happen to you if you get out of line. Stay away from the murderer. Don't be too bullish around her. But with your wife, be a lot more bullish. Lay out, the boundaries. She's taking liberties of the highest order here. She essentially is bedding a murderer on a regular occasion and has now kicked you out of your bed and said, don't touch her anymore. And you're going, I love her. What more do you want, mate? What more do you want by way of flashing red light? It's time to put an end to this. Before you get bumped off, by the way, before they work out that, there might be some financial incentive in you coming off the deeds to the house or something, and all of a sudden your plant grow under the patio, just get out of it, mate. Just get out of it. How can you be enjoying this? And I love... I'm happy to compromise for now.
For now.
What's your red line, mate? As long as it doesn't get any more out of hand. She's sleeping with a murderer, and you know about it, and she's told you she'd rather divorce you than her break off this affair. I mean, how in the world have you even found out all of this stuff as well? It's crazy, but this guy needs to get gone before they start hatching plans to take you out of the equation anyway because you're annoying her. Outrageous.
I like that. Like you said, like, I'm happy to compromise for now. Blah blah blah. I've been kicked out of the bed, but I'm still doing my husband type chores. What are you doing? It's time to stop the chores. It's time to stop compromising. It's time to say this is over. Your relationship's done. What are you? You're just keeping a roof over her head. She's kicked you out of your own bed. I assume you're paying like half of the bills and the rent and whatever. It's like, what are you doing? Like, have some self-respect. This is about self-respect, actually. You can love her. She's broken your heart. She's breaking your heart. And that's hard to deal with. But deal with it because it's happening. It's over. This relationship is done. She's having an affair fully in the full knowledge. Like, you know she's having an affair. She's told you. She said it's not going to stop. She'd rather divorce you. She's told you she'd rather divorce you than stop what she's doing. Divorce her. Just divorce. Stop holding on to her because she's let go of you essentially.
Oh, big time. And I love the way that this whole, paragraph just completely flips on a dime. My wife's having an affair with her high school sweetheart. Right there, he sounds like a Zac Efron type. You know what I mean? Butt wouldn't melt. Boy next door. He was just released from prison for serving time for murder. All of a sudden, you got Joe Pesci out of Casino, gangster. Who you just and even then, I have forgiven her. It's not, you can't forgive something that's ongoing because you got to draw a line under it before you to forgive it. Otherwise, you can't forgive something that's still an active war zone, if you like. You're forgiving. Otherwise, you're giving her carte blanche to do whatever because she's not actually ended it. So you can't have forgiven her. I'm in the process of forgiving her when she's eventually calls time on the affair that she's currently having and has told me she refuses
with the murderer.
With the murderer.
It's not just any old person, is it? She's having an affair with somebody who's been released from prison for killing another human being. Your wife's got poor taste in men because you're a fucking idiot and he's a murderer. She's awful.
Exactly. It should make you look inwards, mate. If that's a kind of taste, you know what I mean? Into murderers and victims. It's that simple. Right, let's move on. That one's sorted out. Get out of that house ASAP, mate. The sudden end of my first relationship has left me reeling. Last month, my girlfriend changed her mind about being with me, and I don't understand why. I'm 19 and she's 18. We were together for 18 months. I was so happy with her. She was my best friend and told me she loved me too. I don't understand why her feelings have changed. She said it's not me, it's her, but she can't explain why. She won't even speak to me anymore. I miss her so much. Twayna.
Thanks for that good bit of acting there, Johnny. I'm glad you're using your skills. We get these every now and again with these young broken hearts, don't we? And we find them. Well, you take them seriously, but I find them quite amusing. Yeah, you're just young. She's over it. She wasn't going to be the love of your life, possibly. She was your high school sweetheart, but we found out what happened with the previous problem with high school sweethearts. Somebody will eventually murder somebody. And then maybe you'll get back together with her in maybe about 15, 20 years. So don't give up. I think there's hope for this. Just bide your time, get on with your life, maybe marry somebody. Do you know what I mean? There's hope for this relationship in another form later on in life, if that's what you're worried about. But for now, it's over. Find somebody else.
It is true. It feels like the be all and end all because you've been together for 18 months and, for one of you were 18. You're not far off 10%, 1% of your life there. You know what I mean? No, 10%? Yeah, 10% of your life. And so it feels like and bearing in mind a large portion of that life, you've not been dating. So out of your dating life, it's all you've ever known. And so with that, it feels like the whole relationship has a lot more gravitas and importance than it actually does. This, you won't know until you're older, but it's just the formulation of you growing enough self-esteem, enough resilience to be able to have relationships and know that they won't break you when they end. I can categorically say a couple of things to you today, mate, to make it a bit better. First of all, it's not me, it's her. No, it's you. She doesn't like you. She's seen enough. She's seen the rest of the world, and she picks the world. You ain't it for her. You're not her horizon. Can't explain why. Can't explain why because you'd be in more peril than what you currently are. Emotional turmoil. It's got to tell you about yourself that you just don't do it for her. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. But this is not, she's seen it, unfortunately, in probably a more balanced way. 18 months down the line at that age, I need to see something else. How do you know? Some people are built that way where they don't need to see anything else. But for most of us, we need to have some point of comparison to work out what we like, what's better, what's preferable, what we could settle for, what we can't settle for. And so this is not one where she's coming back to you anytime soon. And if she does, it's probably going to be because her ex-boyfriend ditched her and she wants a bit of comfort. But you absolutely have to work on emotionally getting over it and being ready to find someone else, because this is not the one for you, mate. It's your first relationship, and they do feel like, you're never going to be able to get over it, but you definitely do.
You will.
And do you know a good way of doing that? Find someone else. And I'll tell you what, at that age, you'll stop thinking about her really quickly. You really will. So, yeah, as you say, Twayna, we do get these young relationships a bit, and we don't want to be too condescending. But on the same note, you're young, you'll get over it. You don't know nothing, you lot. Can you even vote? So, yeah, you get over it. It won't be as devastating for the rest of your life as it seems it is now. I think we sorted that one. Final trouble? Here we go.
Yeah. My wife and I live in different countries and see each other once a year. The last time we saw each other, we argued all the time and slept in separate beds. I'll be going to see her soon, and I'm worried she's seeing someone else, although I have no proof. She will expect sex from me, and I think I should protect myself by wearing a condom. How should I broach the condom suggestion without upsetting her, especially if she's actually being totally faithful?
Look, at this point, you can say my wife, like, we're married. You're not really married, are you? Not in the actual, action of doing it. You live in different countries and see each other once a year. That's not a marriage. What are you talking about? Unless you're working to resolve that. That's just, you probably share some assets together. She will expect sex from me as well. I mean, I'll have to perform my husband duties. That's bold. Maybe she won't, because it sounds like if you're both living apart from each other and you see each other once a year, I expect that someone is seeing someone else. Because if this is your setup, it just doesn't seem like any way. The point of marriage is you actually meant to be around each other. That's kind of the point of it. That's the promise that you've made. Of course, there'll be times when you're away, but it's not from living estranged lives from each other. With regards to the issue of a condom, it would be much better to just say, are you seeing anyone else while I'm over it? Have you been having any extracurriculars with anyone else? Rather than her expecting sex from you and you're there.
And you just to turn up with a condom. It's just like, where's that? What? Yeah.
And because even if she's not having an affair, guess what she's going to think? You are, mate.
Yeah.
She's going to think this guy's obviously got some chlamydia that he didn't want to give me or whatever. So I think it's going to start with you being a little bit more honest and maybe being a bit more honest about whether you guys even want to be married anymore. It's not really a plan for marriage, in my opinion, to just live in different countries and see each other once a year. That's not really a marriage. That's like a pen pal. You know what I mean? That's a pen pal with benefits. So I would suggest maybe living in the same country. That would be a start to get your marriage back on track. How about that, mate?
I'm going to pitch a TV show called Pen Pals with Benefits.
Yes.
I think that's a win. I'm writing that down now. Pen Pal with Benefits. Listen, here's the thing with this one. They've obviously spent some time with each other somewhere in the world, and at some point they've spent some more time together. Maybe it was around the same time, maybe it was after, to get married, right? And then for some reason, whatever reason, they no longer live in the same country. And it's like, when that happens, sometimes people try and make a plan for it not to be just like, yeah, how long's that been going on? We see each other once a year. How long's that been? Like a year? No, 17 years. There's got to be somewhere that, like, how long are you planning to do this for? Because it sounds already quite strained. So you need to kind of put an end to this in one way or another. It's like, we need to live in the same country for this relationship to work. innit? I think that's the first thing. I think they just need to have a conversation, Johnny, about what it is. It's like, are we pen pals or are we husband and wife? Are we a married couple or are we just pen pals? Because it's seeing each other for once a year. Because then it sounds like there's a lot of catch up that needs to be done. It seems like in that time, it's like, are you even having a conversation with each other? Are you even chatting, or do you just save it? You're like, I'm going to go and see my spouse now. We've not spoken for a year, so I don't. I'm just assuming. I'm assuming the worst.
100%. And the language, obviously, in theory, someone could say, we live in different countries and we see each other once a year. That once a year could be for 7 months, in theory. But the language he's using doesn't suggest it is. It seems like it's more of a fleeting visit, even if it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks out of a year, that's not enough. Because I couldn't agree with you more about the fact that there are life circumstances where this kind of living arrangement could happen to reasonable people for a period, like someone gets a job away, husband or wife goes and works in another country, and you dig in, marriages, ideally anyway, should be able to last through situations like that as long as there's an end in sight. This is not a working marriage. That is not a working marriage model, because you're obviously showing that this has happened more than once where you see each other once a year. Minimum, realistically, to be talking about this is you've been living apart for 3 years, I would say, and you've seen each other once. That's not a marriage. So you either find a way to start living together again or just call it a day and let her get off with the guy she's shagging, clearly. and you maybe find someone that got a lady that you want to shag. But this is just an absolute mess. So broach the subject with her, but do not do it by just rolling a Johnny on when the lights are off.
And when you say rolling a Johnny on, you don't mean roll me on. Is that what you mean?
No, I definitely leave me out of this sordid affair, I think. But no, just have a grown-up conversation about whether you guys even want to be married anymore, because this doesn't sound like a plan for any happy marriage. And like that, we've done it again, haven't we, Twayna? All of these troubles knocked out the park, sorted, and will they thank us, Twayna?
No.
No, they won't. They never thank us, but we do it anyway for the love of the game. Thank you guys for listening. And if you are a fan of this podcast, then please don't leave your support of the podcast at just listening. Tell people. Take it on your own initiative and your own motivation to share this with a friend that you think might like it. I'm not telling you anything new. It's 2026. The only way stuff like this gets out to a further field is you guys helping us out. And if you want us to be doing this in 2 years' time, you're going to help us grow it the same way we're going to try and grow it. So share it with a friend. Tell people that you enjoy it and they should listen to it as well. As I mentioned at the top of the shop, if you've got a pop problem you want to send over to us, get us on our socials at @JohnnyCochrane and at Twayna Mayne. And we will be back next Tuesday with a new episode solving more of your troubles. And apart from that, all that's left for me to say and remind everyone is a trouble shared is a trouble halved. Goodbye.